Well, good afternoon on this Lord's Day, March the 29th, 2020. This is Dr. Les here with part 5 of following in Jesus' footsteps. And we've already covered the promises and the commands and the warnings and the eschatology sayings of Jesus. And today, in this final message in this short series, we're going to look at the parables. Jesus spoke quite frequently in parables. We certainly don't have time to cover them all. The parables were sometimes used to demonstrate a command, sometimes used to demonstrate a warning, sometimes to illustrate the principle of stewardship and accountability. Sometimes they were used to portray Jesus' second coming. But today I want to speak briefly about the parable that Jesus says was the most important of all parables, and it's the parable of the sower found in Matthew chapter 13. And we're going to just focus on Jesus' own interpretation of it. So, forgive me if I'm not looking at you, but I'm looking down at the word because I want to read this very quickly to you. Hear the parable of the sower. When anyone hears the word of the kingdom and does not understand it, then the wicked one comes and snatches away what was sown in his heart. This is he who receives seed by the wayside. But he who received the seed on stony places, this is he who hears the word and immediately receives it with joy. Yet he has no root in himself, but endures only for a while. For when tribulation or persecution arises because of the word, immediately he stumbles. Now he who receives seed among the thorns is he who hears the word, and the cares of this world and the deceitfulness of riches choke the word, and he becomes unfruitful. But he who receives seed on the good ground is he who hears the word and understands it, and indeed bears fruit and produces some 160 and some 30. So initially we see the category of those people who don't even receive the word at all. They don't understand it. The evil one comes and snatches it away, and it has absolutely no benefit in their life. Secondly, we see those who receive seed on stony places, but without any root developing in themselves. When persecution and affliction arise for the word's sake, they stumble. Other translations say that they wither and die. And so this is like people who gladly receive the gospel of salvation, but then not having been told about the cost that there is to pay. When a cost is suddenly laid upon them, they wither away and die. Thirdly, there are those who receive the word also with joy. They get saved by that word, the incorruptible seed of the word, washed by the water of the word, but they bear no fruit. This seems to be descriptive of those that Paul speaks about in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, who have absolutely no remaining works after tested by fire, but they themselves escape as one barely escaping the fire. They are just barely saved, but no reward for works is their portion. Lastly, those who receive the seed on good ground and understand it, they bear fruit. Receiving it with understanding, realizing that Jesus calls us into a life that may indeed require us to bear some cost. So be encouraged that Jesus gives us the whole story. He doesn't hold back. He does not sandbag. He tells us that while he paid the full price for our salvation, when we receive by faith the grace gift of salvation, It is an ongoing faith. It is a continuous faith, a persevering faith that will continue to remain even through tests and trials. So God bless. May you be strengthened to endure, knowing that he who endures to the end will be saved. God bless you. Have a great rest of the day.